Hello everyone. Today we'll understand the explanation of Unsolved Passages, The Cold Within, written by James Patrick Kinney. The poem is from Treasure Trove. So let's begin. So this is first passage. By the way, we have understood the poem well. It's very easy poem. That's why we'll be able to explain these passages very easily. See, first passage is: six humans trapped in happen strands in bleak and bitter cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the story is told. That is very simple. First question is: what brought the six humans together? Where were they? We know well the six humans were brought together by a situation which seems to have been arranged. True, it was accidental. Actually, it was accidental. The bitter cold climate brought the six humans together by chance. Next question: what each of them possessed? What use of it was made by each of them? We know well each of them possessed a stick of wood. No use of it was made by each of them because of their selfish attitude. Is there any significance of logs of wood in the hand of six persons? Yes, there is a symbolic significance of the logs of wood. After reading the whole poem, we realize that the stick in each hand is a symbol of human sin. What could these persons have done? These persons could have saved themselves by giving up their negative attitude of caste, creed, races, and gender. What does the cold within signify? By the phrase "the cold within," the poet means the coldness of the hearts, the lack of warm human spirits of the six persons who gathered around the dying fire in that winter season. Now the passage second is also very easy. They are dying fire in need of logs, but the first one held hers back, for of the faces around the fire she noticed one was black. The poet refers to the dying fire here. Who were sitting beside it, and why? The fire was in need of wood, and six persons were sitting beside it because of the bitter cold. What was the need of the hour? The need of the hour was to help one another by forgetting their caste, creed, races, and gender discrimination. Who was the first person in the group? We know well the first person in the group was a woman, or any girl or lady. What she noticed? She had noticed that there was a black person in the group. Why had she hold back her stick back? She held back her stick because she did not like black people, so did not want to help him. Now the third passage is: the next man looking across the way saw one not of his church and couldn't bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. Means he thought there is no person of his religion in the group. Who were trapped on a day of bitter cold? We know well six humans were trapped on a day of bitter cold. What kind of group was it? So it was a group of selfish people because they used to think of themselves. What was needed for their survival? A stick of wood was needed for their survival in that bitter cold. What did the second person in the group notice? What did he do? So the second person noticed that there was no one of his religion in the group, so he did not give his log to the dying fire. What impression do you form of him? Thus, the impression that we form here of him is a secondary for all the sin human beings have, that is, man is selfish, prejudiced, malicious, and suspicious by nature. Do you feel that he too suffers from cold within? Explain. Yes, we feel that he too suffers from cold within because he too did not think of other people in the group. Now the next one is, the third one sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put to use? To balm the idle rich. So here the thing is going on of a poor person who hates rich people. So why did the first two persons keep their sticks of wood back? Sticks. So the first person, who was a lady, kept her stick of wood back because she used to hate the black people, and the person kept her stick of wood back because there was no one of his religion in the group. Next, who do you think was the third man? I think that third man or third one was a poor person because he was in tattered clothes. Explain. He gave his coat a hitch. So we are to explain, he gave his coat a hitch. He gave his coat a hitch indicates that his short coat was not adequate to keep him warm in the cold weather. He found that another man in the group was a rich person. Being a poor man, he was prejudiced against the rich and thought him to be idle. Next is, why did he decide not to warm the idle rich? Being a poor man, he was prejudiced against the rich and thought him to be idle. Therefore, he decided not to warm the idle rich. Were all the 6 men unaware of the consequences of what they were doing? What do you think? Each man was so consumed by hatred, racism, self-centeredness, and arrogance that they remained unaware of the self-destructiveness of their actions. It looks more reasonable that the 6 persons were actually unaware that they won't be able to survive the cold. Next one is, the rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. So, who were the other 3 persons in the group referred to earlier? A woman who hates the black man, a man who did not want to help another religion, a poor man who is envy of rich. So, there were 3 persons. In what way was the rich man similar to the poor man? The rich man was similar to the poor man as he also held back his stick. He did not want to help the poor man because he thinks about his bells in the store and not wanted to save it for the poor. What kept the rich man lost in his thoughts? The thought of his earned money and what was in his store kept him in thoughts. Why did he decide not to help the poor man? He had earned that money from those lazy and shiftless poor, so he thought not to help the poor men who were of no use for him. What does the log in each hand signify in the poem? The log in the poem signifies man's selfishness, greed, hatred, prejudice, animosity, and lack of initiative to share his belonging with others. The entire poem is a metaphor for the prevalent conditions in the contemporary world. Contemporary world means today's world. Next, the 6th one is, the black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight. For all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. Who were the other 4 persons in the group referred to earlier? So, we know well the other four persons in the group referred to earlier are a woman who hated the black man, a man who did not want to help another religion, a poor man who is envy of the rich, a rich who did not want to help the poor. So, these were four people. What were the prejudices in the mind of the poor man and the rich man? So the rich man is similarly prejudiced against the poor. He thinks that the poor are lazy and shiftless, so he is concerned with how to keep his wealth safe from the poor. Here the rich man and the poor man are representative of the entire society. What did the black man's face reveal? The black man's face reveals that he too used to hate the white people. Next, how could he hurt the white? He could hurt the white by not giving his stick of wood into the dying fire. And seventh and the last stanza of the poem or passage, the last man of this fallen group, I had told you, orphan group, did not accept for gain. Did not means did nothing except for gain. Giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. Who were the five other members in the group he referred to earlier? We know very well. First we learned 3 members, then 4 members, now 5 members. There were total 6 members. So the other 4 persons in the group referred to earlier are a woman who hates the black man, a man who did not want to help another religion, a poor man who is envy of the rich, a rich who did not want to help the poor, a black man who hated the white people. What did each of them suffer from? Each of them suffered from a cold and chilly night, which led them to the death not because of cold without, but the cold within. Next, what type of this last man was? The last man was a normal man and had no problem with anyone. He just wanted at least one of the other 5 members to sacrifice his log of wood to continue the fire. But none of them did so, and therefore he also did not put his log in the fire, because he was such kind of person that if anybody helps me, then I'll help him, otherwise I'll not. He has such mentality. Next, why did he too fail to part with his log of wood? What happened at the end? He too did not part with his log of wood because none of them put his log, so he did the same. At the end, all died because of bitter cold. Is there any message in the deaths of all the persons in the group? What is it? Yes, all 6 persons die as each of them suffers from lack of humanity, selfishness, racial bitterness and hatred towards others, and they die not because of cold outside but by the cold within. So these were the passages. I hope you would have understood, and that is the assignment for you all. You are to write the answers in your fear register. How do various kinds of prejudice poison human mind? Discuss it in the context of the poem. So you are to write down some points that what are such prejudices which poison human mind. Many of prejudices have been given in this poem. Basis of those prejudices you can write down your answer. In what ways the poem relevant today? What have you learned from it? So you can understand the same thing is happening in our society even today. That's why it is relevant even today. By the way, this poem has been written in 1960 by the poet of America, James Patrick Kinney. but even after 80 years the poem is relevant today, because same mentality people have today. Okay, I hope you would have understood everything. If any query, can ask. Okay, bye.